Midoriya tries to activate the second user's quirk, Himiko Toga puts her hand on Twice's blood, and Dabi decides it's high time he tells his little brother Shoto the truth. Let's talk about all of this and more as we dive right into the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. So My Hero Academia Chapter 349 is finally out, and with it we not only learn more about the second user of One For All's mysterious quirk, but both Uraraka and Shoto's battles really start to kick it up a notch. It's about time people start beating each other up if you ask me. But before I begin talking about this chapter, don't forget to Detroit smash that like button and slide on into that subscribe button's DMs to hit that notification bell. And now without further ado, let's jump right into My Hero Academia Chapter 349 titled Battle Flame. This chapter opens up with Deku after escaping from Toga on the isolated island, flying over the ocean using a combination of float, Vajin, and his Air Force gauntlets, continuously flicking the air to propel himself forward. However, Deku notes how he is not moving as fast as he would like to, since there are no spots in the ocean where he can use Black Whip, so using full 100% of One For All is out of the question. But just as Deku is thinking this, the vestige of the second user of One For All appears, and he tells Deku not to lose his composure, mentioning how his current hero suit and gear is not capable of withstanding 100% of One For All, so it wouldn't be wise to damage them before he even reaches the battlefield. And Deku agrees, clarifying that he was never intending on using 100% of One For All this early, but he does say that he needs to increase his speed in some way, which makes the second user ask if Midoriya is planning on using his quirk. It's also interesting to note here that the second user doesn't actually say the word quirk, but he says meta ability, which is the original term people in My Hero use for quirks, which is a neat way of showing us his age. But anyway, Deku says that yes, he is planning on using the second wielder's quirk. However, it's revealed that the second user has already asked Midoriya to consider using his quirk as the last possible option. And it's here where it's revealed that the second user's quirk is not only extremely hard to master, but now that it has been strengthened by One For All, it may not even be possible for Midoriya to use it properly at all. Okay, now I'm really curious as to what this quirk is. Come on, show us already! The second user then asks Izuku once again to not use his quirk just yet, and to trust his friends and take the safest path possible, even if it means taking a little longer to get there. And following this interaction, the story cuts back to the aquarium, where we see Froppy mention to Ochako how she is relieved that Deku is gone, as knowing the type of person he is, he would not have been able to ignore Toga's questioning if she had continued. Man, Froppy is a damn good friend. Froppy and Ochako then turn to face off against Toga, who declares that she has had enough of the 3 UA students. She is now going to become who she wants and live according to her own common sense. And as she says this, she puts her hand in her blood compartments and thinks to herself, "Isn't that right, Jin?" referring to Jin Bubagawara, aka Twice. Toga then looks back up at Froppy and Uraraka and reaffirms her ideals, stating that she is Himiko Toga and that she doesn't need any more heroes. So it's time to say goodbye. But in response to this, Ochako steps forward, strikes a fighting pose, and states that she is Ochako Uraraka, and she will handle this situation the way she thinks is right. Finally, things are starting to heat up. And speaking of heating up, the story then cuts on over to Camino Ward, which is now being consumed by a massive inferno, thanks to everyone's favorite Scarboy, Dabi, who is now gleefully hanging from All Might's statue as a giant Nomu, which is shooting out powerful huge needles from its body, is keeping most of the heroes at bay. Ida, just outside a tornado of fire, which has now entrapped Todoroki and some of Endeavor's sidekicks, shouts out to Shoto that he isn't able to get any closer, as he feels that if he gets too close to all of the flames, his engines in his legs will start to overheat. Dabi then propels himself with his flames, gracefully might I add, like unlike Endeavor's flying, Dabi's seems more controlled and relaxed, almost like a dance of sort, right into the flaming tornado, where Shoto and 3 of Endeavor's sidekicks, Kido, Onuma, and Burning, are. Here, Onuma worries for Kido's safety, as he's the only one in the flaming spiral without a flame resistance quirk. However, Onuma reassures the group that he will be okay, as he's keeping the flames away from himself using his quirk trajectory, and that he's been working with Endeavor for over 10 years, so he can most certainly handle the heat and give it his all. Burnin then tells Shoto that they don't know anything about his whole family situation, but they still trust Endeavor, and for that reason are now here to help Shoto. In hearing this, Shoto thanks the trio for their help and then turns to his older brother Toya and tells him that he is here of his own free will, and not just because of the plan. But Dabi declares that it doesn't matter. Shoto is still just a pawn of their father. But Shoto replies that the true reason he is here is because there is no way he could continue to be or view himself as a hero if he ignored his brother's situation. But in hearing this, Dabi, being Dabi, decides that now it's time for a rant, as he exclaims that this whole war comes down to personal issues and ideologies, and the reason he is here is because he wants to change the current paradigm and destroy everything, mentioning how he and the rest of the league are living proof of this society's failure. And just as Dabi says all this, we also get this panel showing Toga, Shigaraki, and Spinner, who is notably more muscular and drooling while holding his sword made up of several blades. Could Spinner be on trigger, or could he be going through some sort of quirk awakening? But with this, chapter 349 comes to an end, as Shoto asks Dabi why he didn't return home when he survived the fire on Sekoto Peak, to which Dabi replies by saying that it is finally time to tell you everything that happened to me, the true origin of Dabi. Overall, this was a pretty decent chapter. The mysteriousness of the second user's quirk has got me super curious, and the final fights in the series finally getting underway is super exciting. With Midoriya out of the picture for the moment, I believe the next couple of chapters are primarily going to focus on the side cast, which, if you ask me, is a breath of fresh air. It's been a long while since we've seen anyone in Class 1A get into a real fight. Dabi revealing the truth behind his survival is long overdue, and you know it's going to be something absolutely crazy to explain how the hell he hid for so long. But let me know what you think of this chapter. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment what you think is going to happen next. For more My Hero content like this, subscribe to the Lunchtime crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Plus Ultra.